more than 2/3 of the planet's surface is covered in water. One might think that those seemingly endless ocean depths would be far more than any single man could rule. But when that single man is Namor, the sovereign of 7 seas, there is always room to expand the empire. While his throne sat in the kingdom of Talokan, it was Namor who united the various other undersea civilizations, from Atlantis to Lemuria, under his reign. Millions of sea-breathing soldiers and countless creatures of the deep all bowed in his presence and answered his every command. But still, Namor craved more, and he knew where to find it. Most of his people had only known a life beneath the waves, but Namor was a man of 2 worlds. True, it had been years since he had lived amongst the surface dwellers, but there was no denying that part of him yearned to feel the air in his lungs and the sun on his skin once more. But in order to do so, he would first have to deal with one of the greatest threats that the Earth had ever known: humankind itself. Unlike Namor's seafaring subjects, who lived in harmony with their undersea environment, the humans who lived on the land above had proven themselves to be a danger to the planet, time and again. Their careless ways were poisoning the water that Namor's people breathed and threatening to bring the oceans themselves to a boil. Their own scientists had warned that it wouldn't be long before the seas began to rise. But if Namor had his way, the people who inhabited those seas would rise even sooner. For years, Namor had been planning an all-out assault on the surface world in order to claim it as his own. Now, the time had finally come to act, before it was too late. Plans had been laid, and the first battle for control of the land was set to take place on a gem of the Pacific, Jeju Island. But even with his vast army at his back, Namor knew that there were those on the surface who would stand in his way and prevent him from seizing total dominion. Beings with great power, who believed themselves to be the Earth's champions. If he truly hoped to stand a chance against these arrogant air-breathers, Namor knew he had to make a strategic alliance with a select few of them. Thus, Namor chose to accept the invitation of an old ally and decided to pay a visit to another island before setting foot on Jeju. As the drums of war reverberated through the cold depths, the King of the Seas set his course for the island of Krakoa, home of the mutants. Getting to Krakoa was not as easy as simply swimming to shore, though. The sentient island had recently been swept up in a chronal tempest and transported to a distant future. But thanks to the gift of a simple seed that he had planted in the silt at the bottom of the ocean, Namor was able to grow a gateway that delivered him across dimensional barriers and into the shallows off the Krakoan coastline. As he emerged from the water, Namor found a group of emissaries awaiting his arrival. Amongst them were 2 respected mutant leaders, the weather manipulator called Storm, and the teleporting sorceress known as Magic. At the front of the group stood the man who had extended the invitation to Namor, the mutant master of magnetism, known as Magneto. "I was not sure you would be coming," Magneto said, sweeping his cape aside with a regal motion as he gestured for Namor to come ashore. "How could I resist such an exclusive form of travel?" Namor replied. "It is not every day that one can swim through a circle of kelp and arrive almost a century in the future. A journey few will ever have the chance to experience," mused Magneto. "One reserved only for our people, for mutants." "I would think carefully before you choose to claim me as one of your own, old friend," Namor said. "Krakoa does not lie," Magneto said, undeterred by Namor's warning. "If you could cross through the gates, you are indeed one of us. Your genetics are unique, an anomaly compared to both races that spawned you. Like each and every one of us who calls Krakoa home, you are something more, something superior. I have been telling people that for decades, Namor laughed. If only they had listened. I know that look in your eyes all too well, Namor, Magneto said, his stoic gaze revealing the slightest hint of concern. It is the look of a man who is about to make sure his foes start listening, by any means necessary. If you know me as you claim, then you are fully aware of my long-standing quarrel with humanity, Namor said. They have plundered the planet's resources and have polluted its splendor. They are a cancer that must be wiped from existence if my people are to survive. As you have established, we are your people as well, Storm chimed in, and we have always believed that peaceful coexistence is the key to survival. I am well aware of Charles Xavier's grand delusions, Namor said with a smirk. How are those dreams of his working out for you? Last I checked, isolating your entire race on a secluded island was certainly peaceful, but a far cry from coexistence. Storm's eyes began to crackle with lightning at Namor's insolent words. Without a moment's hesitation, Magneto stepped forward, strategically positioning himself between his most trusted ally and their distinguished guest. We have forged a proud mutant nation here on Krakoa, Magneto calmly retorted. And while the humans still occasionally prove to be thorns in our sides, we have managed to build relationships with them that have proven to be mutually beneficial. For now, Namor said, until they find yet another justification for unleashing their killing machines upon your populace. If you're looking for a war, said Magic, extending the blade of her fabled soul sword in Namor's direction, I happen to know a few in other dimensions that are worth fighting. There's no need to start one of your own. I did not start this conflict, Namor said, his eyes narrowing, but the King of the Seas shall finish it, with or without your aid, so swears Namor. With that, Namor turned and began to wade back into the shallows, lapping at Krakoa's shore. But he stopped for a moment as Magneto offered one last thought. We respect your plight, Namor, Magneto said, and we will not stand idly by as your people are endangered. You are one of us, and mutants take care of their own. Should you need us, we will stand by your side. Namor smiled, perhaps a moment too soon. But be wary, Magneto continued. I have witnessed genocide firsthand, and I will not allow it to be perpetrated again, not even against the humans. And certainly not by one of our own. On Krakoa, we live by a simple rule. Murder no man. You would be wise to heed it. Namor and Magneto locked eyes for a tense moment. Then, the King of the Seas dove back into the ocean without a word, swimming with tremendous speed back through the gateway that brought him to the Isle of the Mutants. As Namor sat on his throne, pondering his next move, Magneto's warning echoed in his head, drowning out the cold silence of the ocean floor. It had already been clear that the impending battle against the humans would not be an easy one. Now, Namor would have to be even more cautious if he wished not to add another race of air-breathers to his list of enemies. But though Namor had always been many things, warrior and mutant and king, cautious had never been one of them. Gather our greatest warriors, Namor said to his most trusted advisors. Summon the most ferocious beasts of the sea. Today, we bring humanity to its knees. Today, we claim Jeju Island in the name of Talokan. And tomorrow, if need be, Krakoa shall follow.